everybody! So for today's vlog, we're going to tackle about the theories and crime causation. But this is only an introduction for theories and crime causation. Para sa mga disclaimer lang po dyan. Hi, sure. So, without further ado, let's begin. So first, we have the differential association theory. So, it was proposed by Edwin Sutherland, a sociologist in 1939. So, differential association theories propose that people learn values, attitudes, techniques, and motives for criminal behavior through the interaction with others. So, you see, once you interact with others, halimbawa, let's take me. Nag-interact ako sa mga tao may mga criminal behavior, like yung mga theft lang dyan, yung mga kunyari, yung mga basic crime lang dyan. Pwede kong ma-adapt yon. I mean, those behavior, I can apply it to myself, diba? So next, we have the theories of differential oppression. So, it was originally published by John Hewitt in the Delinquency in Society in 1991. So, it says that it contends that the problem behaviors children experience are the consequence of the way they are treated by adults. Okay. So next, we have the rational choice theory. So, in rational choice theory stated that the individuals used rational calculation to make rational choices and achieve outcomes that are aligned with their own personal objectives. So, this result associated with an individual's best self-interest. So, using rational choice theory is expected to result in the outcomes that provide people with the greatest benefit and satisfaction, given that the choices they have available. So, next is the routine activity theory. So, it was developed by Cohen and Felson in 1979. It has a 3 elements. So, the 3 elements of the rational routine activity theory. Nakakalimutan ko na. So, it has the motive of offender, suitable target, and the absence or lack of capable guardian. So in motive of offender, it not the only capable of committing criminal activity, but are willing to do so. So sa suitable target, yung pangalawa nating elements, it has 4 attribute pa yan, yung suitable target, that we call is viva. Yung V natin sa viva, it's the value, yung I is the inertia, yung V is the visibility, and the A is the accessibility. So first, let's tackle the first V, the value. So, value is calculated from the subject rational perspective of an offender. So, next we have the inertia. So, inertia, it refers to physical aspect of person or property that impedes of disputes it's suitable as a target. Next, we have the visibility. So, it refers naman to the identification of the person or property for attack. So, last, the A, we have the accessibility. So, dito naman sa accessibility, it refers to have convenience which increase the risk of attack. See? That is the 4 attributes of suitable target that we have in the 3 elements. Diba? Diba? First, we have the motive of the offender. Next, we have the suitable target that has 4 attributes that we call VIVA, value, inertia, visibility, and accessibility. So, we have the third element. The third element is the absence or lack of capable guardian. So, it says that guardian may include ordinary people, oneself, friends, family, or own strangers. Or even strangers. See? Di ba pag mga ganyan, pag alam mo parang may mangyayari sa'yo, tapos wala kang guardian, lalapit ka na lang sa iba na kunyari kasama mo siya, di ba? Para maano natin, para hindi matuloy yung crime na gagawin nila sa iyo. See? So next theory we have wait lang pala. So the routine activity is a subfield of crime opportunity theory that focus on situation of crime. That's it, yung nasabi natin, 'di ba? Yun na yung 3 elements, doon na natakal yung ano natin, yung what do you call this one? Yung situation ng crime. So in routine activity, it was proposed by Marcus Felson and Lawrence E. Cohen. The reason for the increase is that the prosperity of contemporary society offers more opportunity for crime to occur. For example, the use of automobile on one hand enables offenders to move, di ba? Move more freely to conduct their violation, and on the other hand, provided more targets for theft, di ba? So that is the routine activity theory. So next we have the social disorganization theory. It was proposed by Henry Mackay and Clifford Shaw. So excuse me. So, in social disorganization theory, a theoretical perspective that explains ecological differences in levels of crime based on structural or cultural factors shaping the nature of the social orders across communities. So, sorry, bulol tayo sa R, dahil mga kabady natin dyan, bulol sa R. Pasensya. So, in differential theory, we have, for an example is, example of the social disorganization theory is the theory suggests that, for example, the youth from disadvantaged neighborhoods participating in a subculture which approves of delinquency, and that these youths thus acquire criminality in these social and cultural settings. So that is the social disorganization. So next we have the social and cultural social learning theory. Social learning theory was theorized by Albert Bandura, where the theory of learning process and social behavior, which proposed that the behavior can be acquired by observing and imitating others. Diba? Alam mo mga tao ngayon, magaling tayo mag-observe, magaling tayo magaya. So, malaki yung chances na by observing and some imitating, ma-adapt natin yung mga behavior nila. 'Di ba? Sample na lang natin yung mga bata, 'di ba? They're not good listener but they are good imitator, 'di ba? Kung ano yung mga nakikita nila, kung ano yung mga na-observe nila when they grew up, maa-adapt nila lahat yun. See? So that is the social learning theory. So next, we have the strain theory, where it was proposed by Robert K. Merton in 1938. Stated that the society puts pressure on individuals to achieve social accepted goals through they lack the means. The means. So this leads to the strain, which may lead to individuals to commit crimes like selling drugs or becoming involved in prostitution, or as the means to gain financial security, diba? That's the string theory. So furthermore, mas dig deeper nyo pa yan sa once you get the subject of Crime 2 ng which is the theories of crime and causation. Mas dun nyo malalaman kung ano ba itong mga theory na sinasabi ko. So next, we have the labeling theory, where the possessed that self-identify and the behavior of the what do you call this one? Behavior of individual may be determined or influenced by the terms used to describe or classify them. Let's take for an example is the Manila Kingpin. Sino ba si Manila Kingpin? 'Di ba si Asyong Salonga? Tama ba? Basta yung mga ganun, yung mga katulad na mga yung alam mo yung malalaki yung katawan, kaya tawag sa'yo si wait lang, mali. Sabihin na lang natin na si Putol. Di ba? Si Tanda, ganon. Yung mga ganon, yung mga labeling theory yung mga example ng labeling theory. Like, sa probinsya kasi namin yung mga katulad ng, di ba, sa Putol. Sabihin sa'yo na, sumpunta mo, doon kay Putol, ganon. Ganon yung labeling theory. Yung papangalanan mo para mas once na meron kang parang nickname, yung mga ganon. Nickname mo ganon, alam na ikaw na agad yun. Yun yung labeling theory. So next, we have the neutralization theory, which offenders considered committing deviant acts and the use various linguistic device to neutralize the guilt associated with their actions. So by relying this neutralization, they can commit crimes without bringing serious damage to their self-concept. Let's take for an example an employee, 'di ba? An employee. So mababa yung pinapasahod ng mga ng mga boss nila. So ang tendency magnanakaw sila. Kasi hindi okay yung mga yung hindi okay yung pasahod sa kanila. So by that, parang ang nafe-feel nila, parang they feel yung parang tama para sa kanila yun. Kasi Kasi parang kinukuha lang nila naman kung ano yung dapat na binibigay sa kanila eh. Parang ganun yung sa neutralization theory. Ganun. So next theory, we have the conflict theories, where the conflict theories focus on the competition between groups within the society over limited resources. See? So conflict theory views that social and economic institutions are tools of the struggling between groups or classes used to maintain inequality and dominance of the ruling class. That's the conflict theory. Next, we have the social contract theory. Social contract theory says that people live together in the society in accordance with an agreement that slash moral and political rule of behavior. Some people believe that it will some people believe that if we live according to a social contract, we can live morally by our own choice and not because a divine being requires it. So that is the social contract theory. So next theory, we have the theories of anomy theory. So di ba anomy theory, you know the anomy theory? So anomy theory was proposed by Durkheim. So Durkheim's theory was based upon the idea that the lack of rules and clarity resulted to psychological status of worthlessness, frustration, lack of purpose, and despair. So in criminology, the idea of anomy is that the person chooses criminal activity because the individual believe that there is no reason not to. In other words, the person is alienated, feels worthless, and that their effort to try and achieve anything else are fruitless. Therefore, with lack of any forcible alternative, the person falls to do criminal activity. Person falls into criminal activity. That's the that is anomy theory. So next, after anomy theory, we have the theory differential identification theory. So in differential association theory, a person pursues criminal behavior to the extent that he identifies himself with real or imaginary persons from whose perspective his criminal behaviors seems acceptable. Something like that. So example of differential identification theory. For example pa. So example, if one person is exposed to a repeated criminal scenario, this scenario will eventually rub off on the others. rub off on the others nearby. So that is the differential identification theory. So next theory we have the we do have the conflict of culture theory, or also known as cultural deviance theory. So this theory suggests that crime is caused due to the clash of due to the class of values that arises when different social groups have different ideas of acceptable behavior. That is the conflict of culture theory, or also known as cultural deviance theory. So next theory we have the imitation suggestion theory. It was proposed by Gabriel Tarde. Most people are not inventive, but only copy what they see from other people. So you see, 'di ba, most of the puro copycat lang tayo, yung mga magaling tayo mag-copy, mga ganyan. So Tardy copied his ideas, Tardy codified his ideas in the 3 laws of imitation. So the 3 laws of imitation first is the law of close contact, the law of imitation of superiors by inferiority, and the law of insertion. So that is the imitation suggestion theory. So next theory is we have the what do you call this theory? Theory of subversion and containment. This theory was proposed by the Stephen Greenblatt in his 1988. The overall meaning of this theory was in his book of Invisible Bullets. So this theory capacity of the dominant order to generate subversion so as to use it to its own ends. So that is the theory of subversion and containment. Last theory, we have the containment theory by Reckless. So a form of control theory proposed by Walter Reckless in the 1940s to 1960s. Theory contends that a series of external qualities effectively insulate certain individuals from criminal involvement, even when ecological variables induce others to engage in a crime. An example of a push into delinquency or crime might be low level of frustration tolerance, rebelliousness, the need for gratification, as well as wants and needs. So that is the containment theory. So yun lang naman ang ating mga theories na mapag-aaralan ngayon, kasi this is just an introduction to theories and crime causation. So mas madidig deeper lang yung mga learnings ninyo dito sa mga naano ko na to sa inyong subject na grade 2. But still, I hope na may natutunan kayo. And sobrang thanks sa panonood. Maraming salamat. Yun nga, mga mag-iingat kayo talaga. Huwag ninyong kakalimutan ng inyong mga math and alcohol. Yan. Tandaan, mag-iingat. Yun lang. Ciao!